Okay, so I just got back from a client's place. We're putting a listing together, and we went through my 5-step process of how to get the house ready to sell. And I thought that would be a great video to put out because honestly, I talk about this with every single one of my listing clients, and so I'm sure a lot of people, when you're thinking of listing your home, you have these questions: how do we get the house ready, and how do we provide more value for the buyer out of your house? Well, this is the 5-step process that I use, and I think you'll find it very valuable. Okay, so the first thing that I do is we put together a timeline. Timelines can be completely different for everybody. Can go anywhere from tomorrow to 6 months down the road. Putting that timeline in place really allows for a lot of stress to be removed because you sort of have the goals in place, and as we're moving through the process of getting your house ready to list and we're hitting those targets, it is amazing how much more can be accomplished when you know what you're trying to achieve. Now, the second thing we do is we go through and we declutter the house. Now, I know this one, it can really trigger people differently depending on who we are. I mean, we all have stuff and we all love our stuff. What we're trying to do in this particular situation is allow for your home to have the most value for the buyer. And sometimes having too much stuff in your house can actually take away from the value, even if it's really nice. Even if it's a collection of really nice, pinball machines or cars or whatever it is, as beautiful as they are and as much as you love them, they may actually take away from the value of the house, depending on who the buyer is. And really, if you're not planning on taking the stuff with you to the next place, this is the time to get rid of it right now. I mean, there's 3 huge benefits to it. First of all, it allows for the house to feel bigger and brighter and more open. It makes the house more valuable and easier to sell. Secondly, if you're gonna sell it, maybe this is the time and you'll actually get some money for it. So that's the second benefit right there. And then thirdly, if you're not going to move it, or if you're, if you don't really want it, or this is the time to sell it, well, then you don't have to pay to move it. So there's 3 real big things that create value for you by decluttering in that sense. Now, if you're going to keep it, it's still, by removing it for now, it still creates the value in the home by making it bigger, brighter, and more open and all that kind of stuff. And if you've determined that you're not going to be using it over the next few months, this is a great time to maybe just pack it up and get it ready to move anyways. It's going to have to get moved anyways, so maybe this is a great time to do it. And if we can put it in boxes and put that into maybe a storage locker, or perhaps designate an area of the home where we're going to put all these boxes, well, that just opens everything up. And so that the decluttering, it just increases the value of the home. It's as simple as that. Number 3, what we're going to do is we're going to go through the home and we're going to assess all of the things that need to be fixed or small projects that could create value to the house. This can be little holes in the wall from picture frames, or maybe some touch-up paint, maybe some yard work, maybe caulking around the tub, things like that. All of this stuff ends up coming up on inspection anyways, and so if we can fix it now before that, it really takes a lot of leverage out of the buyers when they are trying to negotiate price. If the inspector goes through and says, oh, the caulking needs to be done, this faucet here is leaky, the furnace needs to be cleaned. These are all relatively small items that we can fix now. But when you look at it as a list to the buyer, it can seem somewhat daunting and takes away from the value of the house. It's very important to sort of allow for us to acknowledge them now and see if we can actually get them fixed. And that's what I've been doing over the last 16 years in my career, is I've put together a team of incredible people that we come in and we get all this stuff done right away. So we can have it done for you immediately. Depending on the seriousness, you may want to take care of it yourself, but my team can come in and do a lot of the work for you here and make it a lot easier for you throughout the selling process. The number 4 thing we're going to do is we are actually going to get a cleaner to come in and do an absolute deep clean on the house, get it ready for people to start walking through and inspecting the home. depending on your lifestyle, I know my lifestyle, I have 3 kids, I got a dog, got a cat, so a deep cleaner for my house would probably be a lot more than maybe on your house, but nonetheless, you get it ready to show. The 5th thing that we do what's called the curb appeal process. Now, curb appeal, a lot of people associate it right away with yard work, and absolutely yard work could be done with that. We're going to straighten it up, cut the grass, we're going to freshen up the plants and the pots and all that kind of stuff outside. But also, curb appeal sort of refers to the first impression that people are going to get. And so that's walking through the home too. So again, this could be small things, lighting, it could be small change of color in certain areas. We really will get a stager in at this point, and a stager will help us. This is something that we'll do a complimentary staging, a consultation. And the other part of this process is about the photography, and really certain aspects of the finishings are picked up on the camera a lot differently than they are in person, and so a professional stager will really identify these areas that we can take care of right away, and usually they're small. It's not so much, staging isn't so much replacing your stuff with with other stuff. It's more about utilizing what you have and maybe making it just a little bit more photogenic, a little bit more pleasing to the eye, if you will. It's not big changes, but it is something that, again, will really increase the value of the home to the buyer and allow for the sale to go through a lot quicker. So call me right away if you're thinking of selling in the near future. Getting that timeline in place is really important. So don't hesitate, give me a call right away, and we'll get started on it.